Someone was banging on the door like their life depended on it. My mom rolled her eyes. It's almost midnight. Did you invite a friend over? I didn't. She answered it, and I heard a male voice ask if I was there. I peek around my mom to see who it is, and I lock eyes with a police officer. As soon as he sees me, he shoves my mom out of the way and yells, "You! Get on the ground!" My mind is spinning as I'm tackled onto the hardwood floor and handcuffed. He starts to tell me that I have the right to remain silent, but all I can concentrate on is my mom sobbing. I'm picked up and pushed out the door. Outside, the street lamps illuminate at least 6 cop cars parked and over a dozen officers facing me. I start to hyperventilate and can feel an asthma attack coming on. What the hell did I do? I'm thrown into the back of one of the cars and sit in silence, shaking the whole way to the police station. My heart is pounding, and I bite my lip, hoping this is all a dream, but I don't wake up. I just feel a stream of blood trickling down my chin, and then I'm shoved into a room with nothing but a table and chairs. I'm handcuffed to a chain in the middle of the table. I feel almost numb at this point, having panicked so much that I felt exhausted. A man in a suit sits and sets a folder between us. He introduces himself as Detective Sangris and says, "Nice to finally meet you, Snatcher." My voice feels hoarse. Who? He opens the folder and lines up photos of missing persons. The mall Snatcher was given to you by the press after information from my investigation got leaked. I'll admit, it made me worry you'd run since we were getting close, but apparently not. So now, we're going to talk until you cough up the locations of every single victim here. A fresh wave of adrenaline washed over me. The mall Snatcher was a name only known in my small town because it was published by a local newspaper and quickly reported as a hoax by larger news outlets. The original article linked the disappearances of many young women to our town's mall, but if you were to go search for that article now, it's nowhere to be found. I stare at the detective wide-eyed. If what he just said was true, then the article was real, but squashed to keep it out of the way of the investigation. And now this guy thought I was the one kidnapping and murdering women. I frantically plead my innocence. I even admit that I'm not strong enough to stand up to a group of bullies at my school, hoping to catch some sympathy, or to at least get him to see I'm not capable of culling. The detective then pulls out a little baggie with a black pen in it. "Do you recognize this?" My stomach drops. The detective then says, "We found this after school hours during a drug sweep. The dog sniffed out your locker, and the cop on duty found this pen. Do you know why that's a problem?" I knew exactly why. The original article wrote about how the only evidence ever found was pens. They all looked identical and had a hidden compartment in them. The detective unscrewed the top and tipped the pen until white powder poured onto the table. He then continued, "Every other pen we've found has been empty, but this one confirms our theory that the pens carry a substance designed to render your victims unconscious, and you had it in your locked locker." "Wait!" I shout at the top of my lungs. "I found it in a dressing room in Victoria's Secret." For once, I'm not the stunned person in the room, but the detective's surprise quickly turns to anger. "I'm not in the mood for games. No, please, just listen. There is a changing room in Victoria's Secret that was closed due to a plumbing issue upstairs. The guys that make my life hell, the ones I mentioned, forced me to sneak into the dressing room to take security tags off of underwear for their girlfriends. I saw the pen while I was there, and I thought it was just a cool pen, so I put it in my pocket. But when I tried to write with it at school the next day, it didn't work, so I threw it in my locker. I was out of breath when I was done." The detective stared at me for a long time, then got up and left without a word. I have no idea if he believed me or was even listening. Hours later, a tap on my shoulder wakes me, and my whole body jerks. As I'm remembering where I am, the detective unlocks my cuffs. "Follow me." I follow him into a tiny break room, and he points for me to sit at the table. He then hands me a piece of paper, pen, and a mug of coffee. The detective mutters, "Figured you'd want a more comfortable place to write your testimony." I feel like I'm going to throw up. I swear, I know, kid. The detective slumps down into the chair across from me. "It didn't feel right talking to you, so I looked into your story. I got one of those bullies to confess. And when we talked to the employees at Victoria's Secret, it turns out that one of them likes to sneak into the closed-off changing room to vape and doomscroll. We now believe the Snatcher plants the pens ahead of time for intended targets. I'm certain she would have been the next victim if you hadn't found the pen." I eventually convinced my mom to let me move cross-country to be with my grandparents. I may be a guy, but I still got in the killer's way. I wasn't about to find out how upset he was about it.